Shalom everyone, and in this audio clip I want to talk about unintended benefits. You see, I'm going to give a few examples, recent examples from history. For example, during the Korean War, there were certain zones where people were not allowed to come. People were not allowed to settle nor to purchase property, and not only in the during the Korean War, but also during the Cold War, that thing that was going on in the 60s and 70s, also in the 80s between the Soviet Union and the USA. A lot of land mass was not inhabited by people because it was near the border of capitalism and socialism. Now that the Cold War is over and the Korean War is long gone, many of those places plants began to grow wild naturally. So there's a lot of beautiful natural landscape, forests with animals, and people enjoy it today. Now, was it the intent of those warmongers to generate uh, a natural uh, natural beauty? No, that was not their plan at all. They were planning to make war, to kill, steal, and destroy. However, those the consequence of those areas of land flourishing now naturally, that's just an unintended benefit that developed from it. Now, were those wars all right? No, they were evil. However, the Most High made it work and converted it into good. Okay, and I'm going to give an example from the Bible. When Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery, when Potiphar's wife lied about him and Joseph ended up in prison, they all of those things that happened to Joseph were wrong, they were evil. However, the Most High caused it to work together for the good of Joseph, and Joseph became the prime minister of Egypt. So God caused the harm that was done on Joseph to turn into an unintended benefit for Joseph, and that unintended benefit was an intentional benefit of the Most High to bless the earth, to bless mankind through Joseph. So be encouraged. All things that the enemy is doing against you, all things that your enemies are doing against you, God will turn it around, and He will cause unintended benefits for you. I'm going to give another example from history. In the year 101 AD, that's about 70 till 80 years after Jesus Christ died and rose again, the Emperor Domitian fought war against the kingdom Dacia. Dacia is the area today we call Romania, Moldova, and some parts of Hungary. The Dacian kingdom was quite large. You see, under the Emperor Trajan, Dacia was conquered. However, the Romans never expected it that within a few decades, I believe like 2 decades, Dacia would become so wealthy and rich. You see, it even ended up that Italy itself became more poor and poor, while Dacia became richer and richer. And listen, the war to take over Dacia took many lives on both sides, so the war was wrong, period. However, also again, this worked out for the good of the spread of the gospel because Dacia became so wealthy, the wealth over there was also beneficial for the spread of the gospel in that area. That's why the Greek Orthodox Church flourished into the area of Russia to go to the conquest of Dacia by the Roman Empire. Now, Emperor Trajanus wasn't even a Christian, he was pagan, he wasn't thinking about God and any of that, and he had no idea that him conquering Dacia would make the area so rich, even richer than many of the other eastern provinces. And he never thought about Christianity that Christianity would flourish. in what they call Russia due to his actions. But God used his political ambitions and the cruelty of the Roman army and also the insanity of the Dacian soldiers. God used them all together for the good of his people. And there's another thing I want to say. You will have unintended benefits, but your enemies, I'm talking about those demons, Satan himself, and all, I'm talking about the world and all those humans who have also fought themselves against you, they will have backfires. They will have a lot of painful, unexpected, unintended consequences. Because think about this, guys. When the Roman Empire under Emperor Trajan conquered Dacia, they expected that Dacians would begin to labor and benefit Italy, where Rome was, and the other provinces. However, it ended up that the Romans were now obliged to build infrastructure for the new territory, to build new cities, to build to make aqueducts for water supply, to station legion soldiers over there. They were obliged now to educate the local population in Greek language. So what the Romans were basically doing was they were investing a lot of time in their new province, and the people in the province they had more money after like 20 years than the people in Greece, in Mysia, which today is Bulgaria, than the people in Turkey and in the Middle East. So this was quite painful for the Romans, very painful. So after 120 years, that's 12 decades, after 12 decades, the Roman government decided they're going to withdraw from Dacia, and they just left. And Dacia remained with the wealth, with the well-established roads, and well-fortified cities. So the Christians that were living there, the pagans basically did all the work for them, and the Christians remained behind with the wealth of the wicked. That's why it said in the Bible that the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. And also in the book of Ecclesiastes, it's written that, that God will cause the unfaithful to labor and to gather and to eventually give to those that are pleasing to Him. You see, throughout history, you see how God causes His enemies to labor, to eventually give the fruits and the benefits of the labor to His people. So I don't know what's going on in your life right now. Believe it's working out for your good. There are many unintended benefits being generated for you as we speak. Remember, all things work together for your good. Okay? Well, that being said, you all, may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ be with you. Shalom.